The question hit 32-year-old Rachel Martinez like a physical blow, forcing her to confront the deepest shame and most desperate hope she carried in her heart. "What's your biggest dream?" Steve Harvey had asked, and for a moment, Rachel felt the familiar urge to run, to hide, to disappear rather than voice the truth that might sound impossible to anyone who knew her story. "My biggest dream," Rachel said, her voice breaking as 18 months of sobriety, countless therapy sessions, and endless nights of self-reflection led to this moment of brutal honesty, "is to deserve to be a mother again." The words hung in the Family Feud studio air like a confession, carrying all the weight of addiction, loss, recovery, and the desperate hope for redemption. Beside her stood her sister Sarah Martinez Chen, 35 years old, who had been Rachel's lifeline, her accountability partner, and her fiercest advocate during the hardest 18 months of Rachel's life. Steve Harvey felt the familiar tug at his heartstrings that came with recognizing profound human struggle. Something about Rachel's trembling voice, the way she had said deserve to be a mother again, rather than simply wanting her children back, told him that this was a woman who had traveled through hell and was fighting her way back to something resembling wholeness. The studio audience murmured with sympathy and curiosity, sensing that they were witnessing more than a typical game show moment. They were seeing into the heart of a woman whose deepest desire was to prove that she had become worthy of the most sacred responsibility she had ever been given, raising her children. Let me take you back to how we got here. 3 years ago, Rachel Martinez had been in the grip of an opioid addiction that had consumed her ability to care for her 2 children. 8-year-old Emma and 6-year-old Lucas had been removed from her care by Child Protective Services after Rachel was found unconscious from an overdose while her children had called 911. The addiction had started with prescribed pain medication after a car accident, but when the prescription ran out, Rachel had turned to heroin. The descent from functioning mother to full-blown addiction had cost her everything that mattered. The children had been placed with the Hendersons, a foster family specializing in children whose parents struggled with addiction. Rachel's lowest point had come when she was arrested for possession and spent 30 days in jail, finally acknowledging she needed help. The journey to recovery had been grueling. Rachel completed a 6-month residential treatment program, moved into sober living, found work at a nonprofit helping families affected by addiction, and began the slow process of rebuilding her relationship with Emma and Lucas through supervised visits. 18 months into recovery, Rachel had achieved every milestone required by the court system, maintained sobriety, held steady employment, completed programs, and demonstrated stable housing. She had been granted overnight and weekend visits, working toward full reunification. But the final decision about custody restoration was still pending. Despite all her progress, Rachel lived with the daily fear that one mistake, one positive drug test, one missed appointment, could cost her the chance to be a full-time mother again. She also carried the weight of knowing that her children, now 10 and 8, had been traumatized by her addiction and would need continued support to trust her completely. The Family Feud opportunity had come through the nonprofit where Rachel worked. The show was featuring Second Chances Week, and Rachel's supervisor had suggested she apply for positive recognition of her recovery journey. Sarah had been enthusiastic about the opportunity, understanding that positive experiences might help Rachel continue building self-worth. During the drive from Phoenix to Atlanta, Rachel had been nervous about appearing on television and public judgment. The Family Feud studios had been overwhelming for Rachel, reminding her how far she had come from addiction, but also how much she still had to prove. During introductions, she presented herself carefully. "I'm Rachel Martinez. I'm 32, from Phoenix. This is my sister Sarah, my rock during the most difficult time in my life." Steve had approached the introduction with sensitivity, understanding that difficult times could mean many things and that Rachel's story was hers to share as she felt comfortable. "Difficult times, huh? What kind of challenges have you been working through?" Rachel had taken a deep breath before answering. "I'm in recovery from addiction. I lost custody of my 2 children 3 years ago, and I've been working every day since then to become the mother they deserve." The audience had responded with supportive applause, and Steve had nodded with respect rather than judgment. "That takes incredible courage, both to get help and to share your story." "How are things going now?" "I've been sober for 18 months," Rachel had replied, her voice growing stronger. "I'm working at a nonprofit that helps other families affected by addiction, and I'm hoping to be reunited with my children soon." "That's beautiful," Steve had said, genuinely. "Recovery is possible, and families can heal. I'm proud of you for doing the work." The game had progressed with Rachel participating thoughtfully, but emotionally. The Martinez family was playing against the Williams family from Georgia, and both teams had been supportive rather than competitive, understanding that this was about more than winning money. During the second round, when Steve asked for things that make people stronger, Rachel had buzzed in with hitting rock bottom, earning a spot on the board and a meaningful look from Steve, who understood that for someone in recovery, rock bottom was often the foundation on which new life was built. But it was during the fourth round that the moment arrived that would change everything for Rachel Martinez. Steve had announced the survey question with his usual energy, not knowing that he was about to ask something that would touch the deepest part of Rachel's journey toward redemption. "Name your biggest dream." The question hung in the studio air, seemingly straightforward but carrying profound weight for someone whose biggest dreams had been reduced to basic survival during addiction, then slowly rebuilt around the hope of family restoration. Rachel stepped up to the microphone, and for a moment, all the recovery training and emotional regulation skills she had learned fell away. She was just a mother who missed her children desperately, who had been working for 18 months to prove she deserved another chance at the most important job she had ever had. "My biggest dream," Rachel said, her voice trembling with 18 months of hope and fear, "is to deserve to be a mother again." The studio fell quiet as the weight of that statement settled over everyone present. This wasn't just about wanting something. It was about earning something, about becoming worthy of something that had been lost through addiction and bad choices. Steve Harvey slowly set down his index cards. Something in Rachel's use of the word deserve, in her understanding that motherhood wasn't just a right, but a responsibility that had to be earned back, told him that this was a moment requiring more than standard game show response. "Rachel," Steve said gently, "tell us about that. Tell us about your children and what it means to want to deserve being their mother again." Rachel looked at Sarah, who gave her an encouraging nod, understanding that this was Rachel's story to tell and her healing to pursue. "Emma is 10 now, and Lucas is 8. Rachel began, her voice growing stronger as she spoke about the people she loved most in the world. "They've been in foster care for 3 years because I was addicted to drugs and couldn't take care of them properly. I overdosed while they were in my care, and they had to call 911. The audience murmured with sympathy, recognizing the profound trauma that addiction had caused for all members of this family. "I've been sober for 18 months, Rachel continued, "and I've done everything the court system has asked me to do. I've completed treatment. I'm employed. I have stable housing. But more than that, I've had to learn how to be a person again, how to handle stress without drugs, how to be someone my children can trust." Steve felt his chest tighten with emotion. As someone who valued family deeply, he could imagine the pain of losing the right to parent your own children, and the incredible strength it would take to rebuild that worthiness from scratch. "What do your children think about your recovery?" Steve asked. "How do they feel about the possibility of coming home?" "They're cautious," Rachel replied honestly. "Emma remembers more about the bad times. She's protective of Lucas, and sometimes still acts like she has to take care of everyone. Lucas is more trusting, but he still asks if I'm going to get sick again. They love me, but they've learned not to depend on me completely. I have to earn that trust back every single day." But what happened next was something that no one in the studio, not Rachel, not Sarah, not even the producers, had anticipated. During Rachel's emotional explanation, a woman backstage had been coordinating something unprecedented. Patricia Williams, the social services case manager, who had been overseeing Rachel's reunification process, had been in contact with the Henderson foster family and had received permission to bring Emma and Lucas to the studio. For weeks, Patricia had been preparing her final recommendation about Rachel's custody case. All the evidence supported reunification. Rachel had exceeded every requirement, had demonstrated sustained recovery, and had rebuilt her relationship with her children through consistent, supervised visits. The final custody hearing was scheduled for the following week. But Patricia believed that seeing Rachel in this context, speaking about her recovery and her love for her children, might be exactly what Emma and Lucas needed to feel secure about coming home. While Rachel was speaking about earning back trust, Patricia was backstage with Emma and Lucas, both of whom had been watching the show on monitors and had asked if they could see their mother. "Is Mommy really on TV?" Lucas had asked, his 8-year-old mind still amazed by the concept of television and excited to see his mother in such an important seeming place. "She is," Patricia had replied. "She's talking about how much she loves you and how hard she's been working to be a good mommy again." Emma, older and more cautious, had listened to her mother's words with the careful attention of someone who had learned not to trust promises too quickly. But something about hearing Rachel take responsibility for her mistakes, acknowledge the pain she had caused, and speak about earning back trust rather than just expecting it, had moved her in a way that supervised visits hadn't quite achieved. "Can we go see her?" Emma had asked. "Can we tell her that we want to come home too?" While this decision was being made backstage, Steve was continuing his conversation with Rachel on stage, unaware that her children were just feet away. "Rachel," Steve said, "I want you to know that recovery is one of the hardest things a person can do, especially when children are involved. The fact that you're here, 18 months sober, talking about earning the right to be a mother again, that tells me everything I need to know about your strength and your love for your children." Steve turned to address the cameras and audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a woman here who made mistakes,
Lost the most important thing in her life, and has spent 18 months working every single day to become worthy of getting it back. That's not just recovery, that's transformation. But Steve wasn't finished with this moment that had transcended entertainment and touched something fundamental about family, forgiveness, and second chances. "You know, Rachel," Steve said, "sometimes when people are working as hard as you've been working, when they've proven they've changed, the universe has a way of recognizing that effort and providing opportunities for healing." As he spoke, Patricia Williams approached the stage, holding hands with 2 children who looked like younger versions of Rachel. Emma, 10 years old, with long dark hair and serious eyes that had seen too much for her age, walked carefully beside Patricia. Lucas, 8 years old, with an infectious smile and boundless energy, despite his experiences, bounced slightly as he walked, excited to see his mother in this new context. "Rachel," Steve said, his voice carrying unusual gravity, "I need you to stay right there for a moment, okay? Don't move from that spot." Rachel nodded, confusion clear on her face, but trusting that Steve had something important to share. "Ladies and gentlemen," Steve announced, turning to address the studio audience and cameras. "Sometimes television gives us the privilege of witnessing something that reminds us that healing is possible, that families can be rebuilt, and that love is stronger than any mistake we might make." He gestured toward the children approaching the stage. "Rachel, there are some people here who would like to see you. Emma and Lucas Martinez. Would you like to come say hello to your mom?" Rachel's hands flew to her mouth as she saw her children walking toward the stage. For 18 months, she had seen them only during scheduled visits in neutral locations. To see them here, in this context, approaching her voluntarily, felt like a dream she hardly dared to believe. "Emma, Lucas," Rachel called out, her voice breaking with emotion as she knelt down to their level. The children approached cautiously at first, especially Emma, who had learned to be careful about emotional moments that might not last. But when Lucas broke into a run toward his mother, Emma followed, and within seconds, Rachel was holding both her children in an embrace that felt like coming home after a journey through hell. "Mommy," Lucas said, his 8-year-old voice clear and happy, "You're on TV. You look so pretty." "We watched you talking about us," Emma added, her more serious tone carrying weight beyond her years. "You said you're working to deserve us. Do you really think you deserve us now?" Rachel looked into her daughter's eyes, understanding that this was the most important question she would ever be asked. "Emma, sweetheart, I know I hurt you. I know I left you when you needed me most. I don't know if I'll ever completely deserve to be your mother again, but I promise I'll spend every day trying to earn that right." Emma nodded slowly, processing this answer with the careful consideration of someone who had been forced to become wise too young. "I think you're different now, Mom. You seem safer. Patricia Williams approached the family reunion with tears in her eyes and official documentation in her hands. "Rachel," she said, "I came here today to tell you something that I was planning to share at next week's hearing. Based on everything you've accomplished, all the progress you've made, and the relationship you've rebuilt with Emma and Lucas, I'm recommending full custody restoration." The studio erupted in applause, but Rachel only had eyes for her children. "Does that mean we can come home?" Lucas asked, excitedly. "Does that mean we can live with Mommy again?" "It means," Patricia said, "that if you want to live with your mom again, and if she continues doing everything she's been doing, then yes, you can go home." Emma looked at her mother seriously. "Mom, are you going to stay sober? Are you going to take care of us every day? Are you going to be the mom we need you to be?" "Yes, baby," Rachel replied, her voice strong despite her tears. "I promise you, I will never let anything be more important than taking care of you and loving you. That's what I've been learning how to do." Steve Harvey then did something that would become one of the most meaningful moments in Family Feud history. He removed his suit jacket, his lucky jacket that he wore to every taping, and approached Rachel and her children. "Rachel," Steve said, his voice thick with emotion, "this jacket has been with me for every show I've hosted. But today, it belongs with someone who just proved that second chances are real, that families can heal, and that love is stronger than any addiction." He placed the jacket around Rachel's shoulders, encompassing her and both children in a gesture of protection and blessing. "Emma and Lucas," Steve continued, addressing the children directly, "your mom worked harder than most people ever have to work to earn the right to take care of you again. She got sick, but she got better. And now she's ready to be the mother you've always deserved." Lucas hugged Steve's leg. "Thank you for helping our mommy feel better." "Your mommy helped herself feel better," Steve replied. "I just got to be here to see it happen." What happened, after the cameras stopped rolling, became a model for addiction recovery and family reunification programs across the country. Rachel's case became a success story, cited by treatment programs, family courts, and advocacy organizations working to keep families together whenever possible. The transition home wasn't without challenges. Emma and Lucas needed time to adjust to living with Rachel full-time again, and all three of them required ongoing therapy to process the trauma of addiction and separation. But with continued support from social services, regular counseling, and Rachel's unwavering commitment to sobriety, the family slowly healed. Rachel continued working at the nonprofit organization, eventually becoming a program director for family reunification services. Her lived experience with addiction, recovery, and custody restoration made her uniquely qualified to help other parents navigate similar challenges. The episode became one of the most watched and shared in Family Feud history, sparking conversations about addiction as a disease rather than a moral failing, the importance of supporting families through recovery, and the possibility of redemption even after devastating mistakes. Steve Harvey's foundation established a scholarship program for children affected by parental addiction, providing educational support and counseling services to help young people overcome the trauma of family addiction. The jacket that Steve gave Rachel became a symbol of second chances and family restoration. She wore it to Emma's middle school graduation, to Lucas's first Little League game, where she was able to attend as his mother rather than a visitor, and to her own graduation, when she completed a degree in social work. 2 years later, Rachel celebrated 3.5 years of sobriety at an NA meeting where Emma and Lucas stood up to thank the program for giving them their mother back. "My mom got sick," Emma said, "but she got better, and now our family is stronger than it ever was before." The lesson that Rachel Martinez taught that day extends far beyond addiction or family services. She reminded the world that people can change, that mistakes don't have to define us forever, and that the love between parents and children can survive even the most devastating circumstances when supported with proper treatment and commitment to healing. Steve Harvey learned that day that the most powerful moments in television happen when you're willing to witness real transformation. Sometimes a game show host can do more than entertain. Sometimes he can help families remember that healing is possible and love is stronger than any addiction. Patricia Williams, often uses Rachel's case as an example of what's possible when the entire system, treatment programs, social services, courts, and family support, works together to prioritize healing over punishment and reunification over separation, whenever safety allows. Because that's what recovery looks like. That's what earned redemption sounds like. And that's what happens when a mother's love proves stronger than addiction. When children's forgiveness meets genuine change, proving that the most important victories happen not when we avoid making mistakes, but when we take responsibility for those mistakes and work every day to become worthy of the second chances we're given.